Okay, so while that trinket bowl is drying, it's not going to take very long to do that, but I wanted to start on this next bowl, this tube paper bowl, Papier-Mâché, aka Papier-Mâché. So of course we start out with the same thing with the flour mixture and the salt and the water. You're going to want to whisk it up. Like I said, you could sift the batter if you want. Don't eat the batter. You can eat the batter, but I wouldn't suggest eating the batter. But you'll want to make sure all the lumps are out of it. You're going to need some paper towels. And again, some spray, cooking spray, oil spray, and some saran wrap. So I've used this bowl before and I absolutely love the shape of it. It's kind of like an oval shape. So what we're going to do, because it's metal, of course, you're just going to want to spray it down all around. And then you are going to cover it with the plastic wrap. The reason why you cover it with the plastic wrap is so when you do take the paper mold off of the mold. Okay, and then you're going to want to just press this down and get all the little air bubbles out of it. I'm going to take my rings off before we get started. Okay, so here we go. Paper towel, dip it in here. I think what I'm going to do with that other trinket bowl that we made, because we made 2 of them during the first video, is like a boho design, maybe a 3-part collection, 3-piece collection. You're just going to want to lay this over this, like this. You're going to lay it over here. This one's going to take a few more layers than the trinket bowl did because, of course, you know, the mold is obviously bigger. And you're just going to want to lay it down on there. Try to get the bubbles out of it as much as you can. You want to lay one across this way. It depends on your bowl mold. Like I said, none of these can be replicated because nobody's going to lay the paper the same, so you don't ever have to worry about that. They're going to be unique and original to their design no matter what. Of course, you're going to add your own little embellishments. You can paint them. You can put, you know, beads on them. You put salt on them. I mean, I've done all kinds of things with these. I had made some little flower pots one time, had it in a shop around our little town, and that was kind of a neat little ordeal. I wouldn't worry about, you know, exactly how these things are laying, but you're just going to want to smooth them out so when they dry, they adhere together. It basically makes its own little design anyway. Okay. Oh, goodness. You're just going to keep layering and keep layering and keep layering until you feel like the thickness of the pot, well, it needs to be pretty thick to be sturdy. So I can tell you that. I mean, you just can't stop at 2 layers and expect the bowl to hold up. It's not going to happen. I mean, it needs to be well over 6, 8, 10, even more than that usually. How many we've got in here now? Probably 6 or 6. And it's still, it's going to take a few more layers. I hope you guys can see this fairly well. Gets pretty messy. Make sure you cover your area. I think we talked about that in the first video. You'll want to put an apron on, of course, to protect your clothes. It is eco-friendly, natural by nature. You know, we're just using flour, salt, and water. A lot of people make their paste differently, and there's all kinds of recipes online if you want to Google it. If you don't want to do it this way, that's fine. You don't have to do it this way. This is just easiest for me, and because I like to put my hands in it, not that the glue and stuff is, you know, non-toxic. The only time that I usually ever use gloves is when I put paint in the mixture, because it's just hard to get out from underneath of your fingernails or whatever. It's just better if you just put like some kitchen gloves on, or some rubber gloves, or to protect your hands. Let's see. And we just continue to keep layering, and we keep layering, and we keep layering, and we keep layering. And you don't necessarily have to leave these bowls with this whimsical oceany. You can always tear those off, and I'll show you. Maybe we'll do that with the bowl with this one. Maybe we'll leave a few waves. But you can always, well, because we're going to put it in the collection, I think I'm going to do this bowl maybe like a base. Little flower vase. And always remember that you only want to put dry material in these, nothing wet. You don't want to cook with them or put hot food in them or anything like that. You do not want to do that. That is not what these are for. These are basically for decoration only, decoration purposes only. So any kind of dry material would work. I use them too as candy bowls around Halloween. You know, to keep extra candy in it. I used to always have a little candy bowl laying around when the kids were growing up. I mean, they weren't allowed to eat the whole bowl, but they could have a piece or two. But it's just kind of nice to have a little bowl like that around. Or bowls for anything. Bowls for, you know, keys, change, you know, what have you. Okay, so this thing is starting to thicken up. Like I said, don't worry about it if it, you know, tears apart. It's all fine. Very forgiving piece of artwork. I don't know if you guys can hear my little dog, but she's actually barking at the mailman. It looks like we have a delivery of some sort, and my hands are covered in paste. Hopefully that doesn't have to be signed for. No. Looks like she's walking away. Hopefully that's my lights. Some of the things that I ordered. I did see that you definitely need light when you're doing videos. And above headlight doesn't always necessarily work well. Maybe the next time I shoot a video, have some lighting and see the difference in some of the videos. Okay. Okay. So we're just gonna keep layering. I'm gonna put a couple more layers on here. I'm about out of paste anyway, so we'll just use this up what we have in the bowl so we don't waste it. It's definitely not gonna hurt it any. I know my husband even heard the doorbell ring. If you don't like getting messy, this is definitely not a project you want to do. Because it is messy. But the good thing about it is it comes right off. Soap and water. Okay, so we have just about used all of this up. I think we could probably do one more after this. I think I'm just going to place one here in the middle because it definitely needs that in the middle. Okay, so, and then one more. Because that is all that is left. Okay, we're just gonna lay this one right over here. Spread this out a little bit. That one ripped, that's okay. Actually, put it over here. Just put it right on here anyway. It's all fine. Just spread it out, and when it dries, it looks like a little patchwork. Okay, I want to smooth it down. Oh, that little piece. I think with this one, I think with this one we're gonna tear off some of these little edges here on the bottom. Just rip them off. Like I said, you know, it's your design. You do whatever you want to do with it. Rip it off, you could leave it. There's a piece here. Let's just go ahead and tear that. Smooth this all out. That little piece. Oh, maybe we'll just leave that one off. It's just not trying to cooperate. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna let this dry and back to the drawing board on that. Good 72 hours. You're definitely gonna wanna take it off of the mold at anywhere from, you know, 24 to 48 hours depending on where you live. I live in Florida, so it's always humid outside. Takes a little bit longer. You got to put a fan on it. It does help it dry faster. And then we will add it to our collection. Okay, well, let's check out the trinket bowl.